Your driveway is cracking. Not because concrete cracks, because the concrete under your feet was designed by an industry that profits more from your next repair contract than from your last permanent structure. Look at it. Veins running through the surface, stress fractures along the foundation edges, the garage floor you paid thousands for already showing the early signs of a material doing exactly what the industry that sold it to you knew it would do. Now look at the Pantheon. 43.3 meters of unreinforced concrete spanning a dome wider than any structure built before or since. No steel reinforcement, no rebar, no expansion joints, no repair crews, no maintenance budget. Nearly 1,900 years old. Its concrete structure standing without structural intervention for nearly 2 millennia. And in January 2023, researchers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology confirmed something that reframes everything the modern construction industry has told you about concrete since 1824. The concrete inside the Pantheon is not merely surviving, it is actively repairing itself. Every crack that forms, every fracture that opens, every hairline split that rainwater enters, the concrete seals it from the inside, using a chemical process built into the material at the moment of mixing 2,000 years ago. The Romans did not build structures that last, they built structures that improved with time. And the construction industry that replaced their method with Portland cement in 1824 understood exactly what it was trading away. It traded permanence for profit, your foundation for their next contract, and it has been collecting on that trade every decade since. Subscribe to this channel right now before we go further. What you are about to watch has a paper trail, named researchers, published studies, documented commercial decisions. And when someone tells you this is exaggeration, you will be able to tell them exactly which MIT laboratory confirmed the Roman self-healing mechanism and exactly which year the construction industry chose a material engineered to fail instead. The Pons Fabricus was built in 62 BC by a local Roman road commissioner named Lucius Fabricus. It spans the Tiber River, connecting the east bank to Tiber Island. Restored in 21 BC following flood damage, it has stood in essentially its ancient form for over 2,000 years. It still carries pedestrian traffic today. No rebar, no Portland cement, no expansion joints. The original inscriptions from Fabricus are still legible on the arches. Your garage foundation is showing stress fractures. The bridge Lucius Fabricus built before the birth of Christ is carrying human weight across a Roman river right now. Something in that comparison does not add up. And the answer to that comparison is the argument the modern construction industry has spent 2 centuries making sure you never examine too closely. It will interest you to know the specific chemistry that made Roman concrete not just durable, but dynamically alive in a way Portland cement could never be. The Romans used 3 ingredients: quicklime, volcanic ash called pozzolana from the region around the Bay of Naples, and aggregate, crushed stone, gravel, broken brick, volcanic tuff. But the ingredients are not the secret. The sequence is the secret, and the sequence is what the modern construction industry missed for 200 years. Every historian, every engineer, every archaeologist who studied Roman concrete since the 1800s assumed the Romans followed the same process modern masons use. Slake the lime first, mix it with water, then combine with ash and aggregate. Safe, stable, controllable. That assumption was wrong. Professor Edmir Masich at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology had been studying Roman concrete samples for years when something kept pulling at him. Every sample he examined under high-resolution imaging showed the same thing: small white chunks scattered throughout the hardened material. Bright, distinct millimeter-scale deposits of calcium carbonate. Scientists called them lime clasts. And for decades, every researcher who encountered them dismissed them as evidence of poor mixing, sloppy Roman workmanship, insufficient quality control. Massage did not accept that explanation. If the Romans invested that much effort into creating the most outstanding construction material in history, following recipes optimized over centuries, why would they be careless about mixing? Massage and his team at MIT, working with researchers from Harvard and laboratories in Italy and Switzerland, applied multi-scale correlative chemical mapping to Roman concrete samples from a 2,000-year-old city wall in Privernum, Italy. What they found overturned 2 centuries of assumptions. The lime clasts were not mistakes. They were made from quicklime, not slaked lime, through a process called hot mixing. When quicklime contacts water, it releases enormous heat. The internal temperature of the mixture can exceed 200 degrees Celsius. That temperature creates calcium aluminosilicates that simply cannot form at room temperature. It is literally a different material at the molecular level, and the heat does not dissolve the quicklime completely. Some of it survives as those bright white lime clasts, trapped inside the hardening concrete like dormant repair reservoirs. When a crack forms in Roman concrete, rainwater enters the fracture. It reaches a lime clast. The water dissolves the reactive calcium inside. A calcium-rich solution flows along the crack path, filling the gap. Then it recrystallizes as calcium carbonate, bonding to both sides of the fracture. The crack seals shut. The concrete has repaired itself. The repair is not a patch, it is chemically identical to the original binding matrix. In some cases, the repaired zone becomes stronger than the surrounding material. Masek proved this in the laboratory. Hot mixed concrete deliberately cracked, sealed completely within 2 weeks. Identical concrete made with slaked lime, the standard modern way, after 30 days, the water was still flowing through. No change, no healing, no self-repair. If you are gaining value here, ensure to subscribe to this channel right now. Also, give us a thumbs up too. It helps more than you know, and we greatly appreciate it. What you are watching is the reason we are here to document. A Roman engineering solution of documented 2,000-year performance, replaced by a commercial product engineered to fail within your lifetime. Seriously, here are the people who needed Roman concrete to become irrelevant, and what they built on the ruins of its irrelevance. In 1824, a bricklayer in Leeds, England named Joseph Aspdin patented something he called Portland cement. Within a century, his invention had conquered the world, not because it built better structures, because it built structures faster. Portland cement sets in hours. Roman concrete takes days to reach initial strength and weeks to fully cure. On a commercial construction timeline, a tight schedule, a fixed contract, a developer with a mortgage to close, Portland cement was the only rational choice. The construction industry's adoption of Portland cement was driven by commercial timelines and cost efficiency rather than any structural performance comparison against Roman alternatives. The commercial consequence of that adoption is documented in federal data. The American Civil Engineers released its 2025 Infrastructure Report Card. The overall grade for United States infrastructure, a C. That is the best grade the country has received since the report cards began in 1998. The first grade in 1998 was a D. More than 42,000 bridges across the country are classified as structurally deficient. 168 million vehicle trips cross those deficient bridges every single day. The estimated rehabilitation cost for bridges alone, $191.3 billion. The total infrastructure investment gap across all categories, $3.7 trillion. The average American bridge is 47 years old. Most were designed for a 50-year service life. Meanwhile, the Pons Fabricius is 2,100 years old and carrying foot traffic across the Tiber. A significant portion of that $3.7 trillion gap represents the accumulated cost of building with materials whose designed service life has been reached or exceeded. Materials selected for commercial convenience. Materials that generated continuous repair and replacement revenue on a timeline that permanent Roman construction would have permanently eliminated. And here is the detail that makes the commercial consequence of Portland cement impossible to dismiss. Modern concrete does not just crack because of age, it cracks because of the very material embedded inside it to make it stronger. Steel reinforcement, rebar. When moisture penetrates concrete, and it always does eventually, it reaches the steel. The steel corrodes, expands, pushes outward from the inside. The concrete splits open. The reinforcement that was supposed to provide tensile strength becomes the mechanism of destruction. Every bridge you see with rust stains bleeding down its support columns is watching this process in real time. For the compressive structural applications the Romans mastered, their concrete required no tensile reinforcement because its geometric engineering distributed stress in ways that eliminated the tensile demands that make rebar necessary in modern construction. The lime clasts distributed throughout the entire mass meant every point of potential failure carried its own repair mechanism. Whether by commercial calculation or engineering oversight, the result is a construction system whose reinforcement mechanism becomes its failure mechanism on a timeline that continuously serves the repair and replacement revenue cycle. Portland cement production now accounts for approximately 8% of total global carbon dioxide emissions annually. We poison the atmosphere every year to produce a material that fails within a single human lifetime, while the concrete the Romans mixed on open-air sites 2,000 years ago continues to strengthen with every passing decade. Here's what that commercial consequence costs you right now, not in ancient Rome, in your foundation, your driveway, your tax bill, your commute across a bridge rated structurally deficient by the federal government. In December 2025, a paper published in Nature Communications confirmed what the 2023 MIT study had proposed. Archaeologists excavating Pompeii's Regio 9 district uncovered an active Roman construction site frozen mid-build by the eruption of Vesuvius in 79 AD. Workers had stacked ceramic roof tiles neatly against a wall. Masonry tools lay where they had been set down, and on the ground, arranged in distinct piles, sat the raw materials the builders had been about to use. Dry quicklime pre-mixed with volcanic ash, exactly as the hot mixing theory predicted. Untouched since 79 AD. Lead researcher Ella Verseman and her team analyzed everything. The chemical mapping was definitive. Hot mixing confirmed across every construction stage. Not a regional anomaly, standard Roman practice. Frozen in time by a volcano, preserved for 2,000 years until the science finally caught up to what Roman builders already knew. Professor Masick, who visited the site, said tears came to his eyes when he walked in and saw those material piles. Everything was so vivid, so perfectly preserved. It felt as if Roman workers might walk back through the doorway at any moment. Those Roman workers understood something the modern construction industry has spent 2 centuries making commercially irrelevant. The best materials are not the ones that are fastest to produce. They are the ones that get better with time. Here is the honest question this video ends with. Look at your home right now, your foundation, your driveway, your garage floor. How long before the first crack appeared? Now think about the Pons Fabricius carrying pedestrian traffic across the Tiber River after 2,100 years. Think about the Pantheon standing without structural intervention after nearly 1,900 years. Think about the 42,000 American bridges rated structurally deficient right now that are younger than the average Roman aqueduct. And then ask yourself the question the construction industry is counting on you never asking. If MIT confirmed the Roman self-healing mechanism in 2023, if the Pompeii excavation confirmed the hot mixing process in 2025, if the science is documented and peer-reviewed and published in Nature Communications, why is every construction company on Earth still pouring Portland cement into your foundations today? Drop that question in the comments right now. Not the polite version, the real one. Because the gap between what the Romans built and what the construction industry sold you is not a gap of scientific knowledge. The science has been confirmed. It is a gap of commercial incentive. And the industry filling your foundations with Portland cement is counting on you never closing it. The Roman concrete story is not isolated. Replace the permanent system. Introduce the commercial alternative. Engineer the failure timeline to match the repair and replacement revenue cycle. Then charge the population for the infrastructure gap that failure timeline produces. That is not construction. That is a subscription model built into your foundation, and it has been running since 1824. Subscribe to this channel now and turn on your notification bell before you move on, because this channel is not finished. There are Roman systems, Victorian technologies, and medieval knowledge the modern industrial world replaced, not because they stopped working, but because they worked too well without generating a repeat revenue stream. This channel documents them one at a time, with evidence, with the commercial paper trail, with the specific decisions those industries are counting on you never examining. The people who subscribe to Before Industry right now will be there for everyone. Do not leave without subscribing. This is the channel they are counting on you never finding. The Romans built foundations their grandchildren's grandchildren's grandchildren inherited intact. The industry that replaced their method built a foundation you will repair before your mortgage is paid off. The science is confirmed. The commercial logic is documented. Now you know what was buried. The question is what you do with that knowledge.